We thank you, as always, for tuning in to the program. We love you for keeping it locked here on us every single day. And spread the word, man. Spread the word. Tell the folks we are here every day giving you close to 4 hours of talk, I guess, every single day, or four, sometimes more, actually. Definitely on Fridays, it's 5 hours. So all of that. And Doug and Victoria, again, if you're watching, there's the Rush lunchbox. I've gotten a lot of really cool presents over the years. That's definitely one of them, man. You guys have taken care of me over the years. So many people have given me some really cool presents over the years, and I have them. I have them all in my studio, and I cherish them in a big time way. Hey, Saturday, Bill and I from 3 to 7 are going to be out at Marlins Fan Fest, out at the stadium. We're going to be broadcasting live out there for 4 hours. So not only will you get what you get throughout the week, and Saturdays or Sundays I'll post a small podcast, but we're going to give you a big ass podcast on Saturday. So we're going to be out there having some fun, and we'll be looking forward to it, man. Can't wait. I like it. I like it. That's going to be a lot of fun. Our show's going to be more and more out on the road on all these kind of events and things like that. So you'll start to see as we, continue to grow, we'll be at different places. Montel says, "What's up, Big O? Happy Monday to you, my brother." Thank you. Thank you. Mad Dog gives a thumbs up to Metallica. I like it. Myron says, "I don't know what's going to happen to my Niners' future. I'm worried. My coach worries me." Well, you got a good team. The coach, well, you should be worried about that. You definitely should be worried about that, because that guy has not performed well in his 2 Super Bowl appearances.
He doesn't have a set.
No, he does not have any cojones whatsoever. Now, Andy Reid has got cojones. All right? Andy Reid has proven to me, that he is one tough hombre, man. Okay? He's gone through personal issues. Professionally, he's had to deal with all these idiots that were going after him. "Oh, you're not a great coach. You're a good coach, but you can't win the big one." Well, he won the big one. Finally, he got it done. And he built that team from scratch. It's his identity. And let me tell you something. What I love about Andy Reid is that he is the ultimate football coach and the ultimate contributor to his sport. A lot of people contribute to their sport in one way, and they help better it, right? Whether you're a player, whether you're an owner, whether you're a coach. And you do your thing. You coach up players, you make them better. Great. You're an owner, you own your team, you do a great job. Great. You're a player, you get your stats, you help the team win. Fantastic. Andy Reid does things that a lot of people don't do. A lot of people can't develop quarterbacks. He can. He makes them all better. Think about this. Think about Matt Moore playing for him. Okay? Anybody that plays for Andy Reid plays better than what they are. Michael Vick played his greatest year, which was a good year, by great quarterback terms, a solid year. For him, it was great because 62%, it doesn't get any better for him than that. His best year was under Andy Reid. Okay? That's how good Andy is. Everybody. He develops coaches better than anybody else in the NFL. What Bill Walsh used to do, he picked up and left off right there and has produced coach after coach, players after player. They love him. They want to go through walls for him. And I think it gets to a point where all of us appreciate the big walrus. And we say, man, come on. How do you not like that guy? And yesterday, post-game, he had one line after another. I mean, it was just, he's a likable dude, man. And he's a great, great coach. And yesterday he was going into the Hall of Fame. maybe doesn't get in first ballot because of no championship. This, first ballot. First freaking ballot. You might have had some knuckleheads that would have said, yeah, he's great. I'm going to let him get in on the second time or the third time. He didn't win a championship. Now that he won it, he is as great a coach as there is in this league. I know Belichick is the best of the best. I get it, 6 titles, all that. He was an incredible defensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying? He's been great at everything. Personnel, developing players, all that stuff. The guy's a monster. But Andy Reid does things even better than Bill Belichick in developing coaches and everything else. He just hasn't won as many titles because he hasn't had a Tom Brady. Now he's got his Tom Brady. Maybe he'll win a couple more now. But nobody, I mean nobody in the NFL deserved that championship, needed that championship more than Andy Reid. Not only for himself, but just to keep the nutbags away from him so they can't say anymore, well, he's not that good because he didn't win the big one. They can't say that anymore. He's a big-time coach. He's a great communicator. His players love him. The franchise loves him. And I think most people respect the crap out of Andy Reid. And yesterday, I think a lot of people that weren't obviously, forget the Chiefs Nation. We all know they're happy for everybody. That goes without saying. But the rest of us that aren't Chiefs fans, the rest of us that don't care about the Chiefs, they're not our favorite teams. We had to have been happy for Andy Reid. If you're a football fan, if you're a real football fan, you know exactly what that man has been through. So you're like, yeah, this dude deserves this, man. No doubt about it that he deserves it. So congratulations to Andy Reid. You got what you deserved, my friend.
He's the reason I was pulling for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And, you know, something, talking about it, Marv Levy, 4 Super Bowls in a row.
Oh, phenomenal. Bro.
Back in the day, Bud Grant went to a bunch of Super Bowls, never won. Marty Schottenheimer, you know?
Yeah, no, great coach.
Always,
great coach.
Always in the playoffs.
Always. And
always.
And he had to walk away without a championship, which absolutely blows.
And to get that stigma that Andy had, you have to be in a bunch of playoff games.
Yeah.
You have to be in a bunch of conference championships to get that stigma.
No, the guy is as great as it comes, man. I'm just really, really happy for him that he got what he deserved. And then also ends the damn negativity around him that questions what he is as a coach when he is just one of the great ones. Let's just say it. One of the best offensive minds, one of the best coaches out there. You know that they got a play from the 1948 Rose Bowl. Did you see that play where they spin around the 4 guys in the backfield? Now, Michigan didn't spin around in that Rose Bowl, but I saw the film of it in 48. But it shows you also that they're open enough to say, let's go back to the past because that's what football is.
Isn't it called the single wing?
Well, no, they were running the single wing, but isn't necessarily that formation was not necessarily a single wing like. But that's where Damian Williams scores on that one. Eric Bieniemy was explaining it. He said it was the 49 Rose Bowl, but when they looked back, it was a 48 Rose Bowl. Where he and they didn't do the spin. They kind of shifted, but they didn't do the spin that the Chiefs actually did on that one. They added a little more pizzazz to the whole thing and ended up scoring. But again, that shows you where Andy Reid is, that he's smart enough, and so is Bieniemy, and teaching Bieniemy and everybody else to be open that, hey, you know, we didn't invent football. And we didn't invent most things. Most of this stuff was already been done in football at one point or another. You're just bringing it back and maybe adding a little twist to it or whatever. That's what's going on, basically. And for you to go back to 1948 to find a play or something that inspires you to use something like that in your game, that's coaching that opens you up to being better. You know what I mean? That you're willing to go back into the past and take some time and look at that kind of film. That's
Thinking outside the box,
yeah,
man.
totally outside the box. Totally. I mean, what the Baltimore Ravens did this year with Lamar was totally outside the box. It was a lot of wing T that you were passing out of, basically, is what you're doing with that. And again, this stuff that was done in the past. But they did it in a little bit of a different way in Baltimore, and they changed up some of it. Andy has that it factor at finding really skilled players, NFL-ready players during the draft, something Miami and Greer can't do. Fire Greer. But he found a ready-made coach and a ready-made Preston Williams, undrafted. But he can't find them, of course not. No, you're right about that. He can't find players. Not at all. He doesn't. Christian Wilkins must suck, right? I guess. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Yeah, he really can't find anybody. What can I tell you? I love that. All right, 786-322-1105. The other thing that developed yesterday was, Andy Reid might be a living legend, right? Pat Mahomes is now becoming a young legend. Because here's a guy that's got moxie. Here's a guy that's super likable, has got personality. He is fearless, right? Whether he's passing the ball or running the ball. He's a guy that is confident, right? You saw him towards the end of that game screaming at everybody, finish the game, finish the game. Intensity's there. It's impossible not to like Pat Mahomes, correct? It's also impossible not to respect Pat Mahomes because a lot of us that were picking Kansas City, some of it was emotionally about Andy Reid. Professionally, you were like, dude, Pat Mahomes is a badass. Right? That's kind of where we're all at this point now where we're looking at Pat Mahomes and saying, dude, that's a Montana, that's a Brady, that's the it guy. That's kind of the way we look at that young man because he has delivered over and over and over again. And to me, that's how legends grow. Legends grow because they came back from a deficit in every round of these playoffs. Okay? And you know how the legend grows? You remember how the Niners fans were throughout the week when you talk to a Niners fan? Well, if they fall behind on us, they're not coming back. Well, they came back because they got the young legend. They got the young gun. Emilio Estevez and those guys were in that movie back in the day called The Young Guns. This is the young gun in Pat Mahomes. And his legend grew yesterday because he sucked. Yeah. Because when everything is not going well, you're turning over the football, you suck for 3 quarters, basically. You're the main reason why your team is not in this game and trailing. Let's be honest now. Pat was off yesterday. But that's what legends do, man. Legends don't continue to suck into the 4th quarter. Legends rise to the challenge. That's exactly what Pat Mahomes did yesterday. He rose to the challenge. He was Dwayne Wade, 3rd quarter, midway, whatever it was, 5-7 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, looking up at the scoreboard. What was it, 13 points down? Was it 13, ladies and gentlemen? And Dwayne Wade said, no, I'm not going down like this. Legends, man. That's what legends do. They pick themselves off the ground. When you think they're not going to come through, they come through. When you think they're going to fail, they succeed. when you see they're struggling, they find a way to overcome. And that's Pat Mahomes. I mean, if you don't know or if you can't tell by just seeing it, I can't help you. But here's a guy that players rally. Here's a guy that players believe in. Here's a guy that not just fans, not just Kansas City fans, but you and me believe in him. He's not my quarterback. He's probably not your quarterback, but I bet you want him as your quarterback. I bet you want him in a key moment. And the kid's only in his third year, second year starting. That's a young legend right there. When you have, in your short span of playing, you overcome constant adversity. You constantly make big play after big play after big play. You can't explain Magic Johnson. You can't explain Larry Bird. You can't explain the late Kobe. You can't explain Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and that hook that nobody's been able to duplicate. There are things that the special ones do that we cannot explain. You can never explain Russell Wilson. You can't. You can't teach Russell Wilson. You either have the magic or you don't. It's a strange thing. But you can't sit there and teach Pat Mahomes to dodge tacklers, recover from all of that, find somebody downfield and make a play. You can't when you see damn it, what's the name of the Houston kid? Deshaun Watson, Malachi Crunch, and somehow stays standing and then delivers a strike downfield. Can't teach it, bro. Can't teach it. Can't coach it. That's not something that Bill O'Brien developed. That's not something that Dabo Swinney developed. Deshaun Watson had it, period, because it's who he is. And his legend is growing too, because he's one of those kind of guys. And that's what this kid is. He's just special, man. He is a living young legend already. He's Michael Jordan on the side of the key, hitting the game-winning shot in a national championship game as a sophomore, right? I think he was a sophomore, if I'm correct. No, he was a freshman.
He was a freshman with James Worthy against my then Georgetown Hoyas.
Yeah, he was a freshman, actually.
Patrick Ewing, a freshman.
Yes, he was a freshman hitting that shot because you can't teach it. You can't coach it. You can't explain it. You either have it or you don't. And Jimmy G may have looks over Pat Mahomes. That's about it. But he doesn't have that it quality, that legend quality, that when you see certain guys, you just say, they're just that guy. You know, you can't do anything about it.
Killer stat I saw yesterday.
What's that?
Yesterday is the 8th time that he has faced a top 5 pass defense in the NFL. You know what his record is against top 5 pass defenses?
What is it?
8-0.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. That's why he can do this.
Where are you going? Something I've wanted to say my whole life. I'm going to Disney World. Can I go with you? Yeah, everybody.
I wonder how Disney World was today. Right? I would imagine that the KC fans today loaded up in the car and drove over there. I mean, I would.
Yeah, sure.
I know. Well, I would have had somebody else drive because I'm probably all screwed up. There's no way I can drive. But we would have had to have somebody designated to drive that's kind of straight and take us over, and then we're kind of inebriated standing there in the
It'd be part of the 17 million people that are missing work the day after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah. And by the way, folks, if the Dolphins do win the Super Bowl, you know, you don't mind if I take a day off? Can I take a day off? You know my crazy ass probably won't even take a day off. You know that I probably will do a podcast no matter, we'll do a show no matter what. Okay, because by then,
Yeah, but it'll be a show of us like just hanging out and smoking cigars and
yeah,
this is great.
yeah, it'll be awesome. Yeah, it's coming, man. Our Dolphins, hey, if the Chiefs erase 50 years without a title, okay, Dolphins can do it too. We're up next. All right? Couple years, you'll see we'll be celebrating a championship. And we'll be like, finally, we got it done. We got it done. Nice job by Pat Mahomes, man. He is impressive, I tell you. You know who is kind of fortunate in one way or another? I don't know how you want to look at it. Maybe some of you will look at it this way, some of you won't. Just to switch gears a little bit, I read where the Dallas Cowboys now are leaning to franchising Dak Prescott. And while I tell you that Mahomes got that it quality, I can't tell you Dak has that. I haven't seen that. Dak can make some throws, but I haven't seen Dak be the guy that elevates everybody around him like Pat Mahomes. And now they're saying that they may end up franchise tagging him, which is not what the Cowboys want or Dak. The Cowboys obviously don't want that because that's hard cap money that you have to now set aside. So there's no playing with the, like the first year you could like pay him, $7 million, and that'll be against the cap. But then next year it goes up dramatically. You know what I'm saying? But if you tag him and it's, let's say the tag is 25, 30 million, that's exactly what you're going to take from the cap this year, 25, 30 million. So it's going to take a hard chunk of money off your cap that you will not have flexibility with. And the strange part is that the Cowboys, with all the players that they have to re-sign still, and the players they've already signed to long-term contracts, I think the Cowboys are like the fourth or fifth team in the NFL with cap space. They're like in the top 5 with cap space still, which is great management, by the way. You got to give them credit there. But this, I think, becomes a blessing in disguise. I know the Cowboys may not look at it that way because, again, they've got to set aside hard cap money in order to give them the tag, and they can't play with the money. So I get that. But because Dak has played well, but I'm still not convinced that Dak is an upper echelon quarterback. I still think he's a solid quarterback, not a great quarterback, but you're going to pay him like a great quarterback. And then that's where you get into the Kirk Cousins problem. That Kirk Cousins is a solid quarterback, but he's not a great quarterback. He's not a franchise guy that carries you. He's not a guy that if you're down by, 10 or 15 points and he's going to start bringing you back, he's going to start picking people up. That's not who he is. He's kind of it's what he is. He's a facilitator on his best day. So I find it strange that you would, worry so much about that unless you're more worried about re-signing other guys and that this stops you from doing that. And that maybe you can create a more cap-friendly deal that if you're able to do it, you can kind of get out of it if Dak doesn't convince you in a couple of years. With this, that becomes a little bit more of a problem. Be interesting to see how this whole thing works out between the Cowboys and Dak Prescott. But for me, I don't have a problem with tagging him. I really don't. I think it's something that doesn't really hurt the Cowboys. I think it's going to end up helping them in the long run because it gives them another year to assess Dak Prescott. And if I'm them, just in case, if you do end up tagging him, you should draft a quarterback just to kind of have yourself prepared just in case. And if it does work out, then great, you have the quarterback, and then you can trade him if you want, if you create something out of that. But I would do something along those lines with Dak Prescott. 786-322-1105. That's 322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. And remember to give us a thumbs up if you're watching the broadcast. Whenever you're watching the broadcast, the podcast, all that good stuff on YouTube, give us the good old thumbs up on that one.
I'll tell you why I don't buy Dak.
Why? Why don't you buy Dak?
He's got an exceptional offensive line,
And
the
running
best
back?
running back, great receivers. There's a defense on that team.
Not great receivers, but good receivers.
Very good receivers.
Yeah, good receivers.
And he's probably not ever going to have the kind of talent he has around him like this again.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And look what you've done.
Yeah, like I said, he's a good facilitator. I don't think he's yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think a tag becomes a blessing in disguise. But if I'm the Cowboys, I draft another guy.
Oh, you have to.
Just in case.
Yes.
Just in case, draft another guy.
I think the reason that they are tagging him is because, like the rest of us, not all in yet.
Yeah.
Bottom line. If they were, the way they got Zeke done, remember?
Mm-hmm.
He's hanging out in the islands and blah, and no, we got to get this guy. And it's done. And like you said, they got cap space. So if they were sold, I think that this would be done, right?
Yes. If they were sold on him and he was franchised, Jerry pays you, dude. Jerry pays you. He paid Jalen Smith already. You know what I mean? So it's not like he pays everybody. You get paid there. That's not Mike Brown and the Bengals. Let's put it that way. Okay, that clown. Let me ask you something. Any of you out there, are you all, or any of you out there, ABBA fans? If you are an ABBA fan, there is good news, because Benny Anderson from the iconic group says that ABBA will be releasing new music for the first time in like 35 years. In a clip shared by ABBA Talk, the Swedish musician was asked about new music. And a couple of years ago, they said that they would have new music, and it never came out. He says they're coming, he answered in his native tongue. They're coming this year. I'm guessing after the summer, but I can only guess because I'm not really sure, but I would think so. Asked whether he could promise that they would be out in 2020, he replied, one shouldn't promise anything, but if I were to decide myself, it would be September. He added, I can't make that decision alone, but that's what we're aiming for. So the clip is there, but he's talking in Swedish. So unless you understand Swedish, you will not be able to pick it up. And then it's been 35 years since their last studio album. I don't even know how they're going to sound. He says it's new music, that it's not like old stuff that they had on the back burner sitting there and they didn't complete it, or it was remastered. It was stuff that they left on the cutting room floor after making other albums. No, supposedly it's real new music. Okay? It's interesting to see how they would sound. That is one band. I don't know if they could do it now because they're really, they're up there in age. Because if I'm 53, they've got to be in their 70s already, right? I would imagine.
Oh, easily, man.
I would imagine.
It was early 70s. Like, we were single digits, man. Not even the 5 or 6 when they were huge.
Yeah.
Right? 72, 73.
No, and later 70s. No, they were making music into the early 80s. Remember, it's 35 years.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're just going
but
80.
They started off,
years,
but I'm saying their
35
start
years
off
is 85.
But their start off
It's 85.
is early 70s.
Oh, yeah. Maybe 60s.
So we're looking at probably well up into their 70s.
Let's see. They formed, 72 in Stockholm. Okay? So there you go. 72. And let's see. Benny, who was talking, is 73 years old. I told you, they've got to be in their 70s. Frida, let me see where Frida's at right now. Frida's 74, so she's older. Bjorn is 74. And Agatha is 69. She's the youngest. The blonde, by the way, for those of you that don't know. Okay. How about that, dude? That's pretty amazing. They're going to come out with new music. The folks that are fans, this is the one of the few bands in the world that if they wanted to tour, now again, they're kind of, they're older now, but if they wanted to tour, let's say 10, 15 years ago, they would have filled every stadium in the world 3-4 times over. That's how big that damn, I'm sorry.
Oh, they were the record. They were set records and all kinds of ridiculousness.
This is one of those bands that worldwide, very few bands have their success. I mean, worldwide, I don't even know if there's that many bands that have as many songs as they do in different languages. They sing in Swedish, in Spanish, in English, in Italian. I don't know how many languages they've had hits. It's crazy. I'd have to look it up, but they did it in several languages. Let's see. ABBA was the first group from non-speaking English country to achieve consistent success in the charts, including English-speaking countries, United Kingdom, Ireland, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and the United States. They have joint records in 8 consecutive number one albums in the UK. The group also enjoyed significant success in Latin America and recorded a collection of their hit songs in Spanish. ABBA was honored at the 50th anniversary celebration of the Eurovision Song Contest in 2005 with their hit Waterloo, chosen as the best song in the competition's history. Okay? They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2010, and in 2015 their song Dancing Queen was inducted into the Recording Academy's Grammy Hall of Fame. Now, this is a group unlike almost any other in the world, in the history of music. It's crazy. I don't know how many. I got to look it up here. I mean, their bio is so damn long. I don't know how many albums they've sold, but it's a lot. It's a boatload. Big O, how do you feel about the Hall of Fame inductees? Well, my man, you have to go back and listen to our podcast. We did all that stuff already, and you can hear it there. We did it a couple of days ago, and it's a shame that that Zach Thomas did not get in. But I've got all of that there. Again, it's not a regular radio show where we constantly are repeating stuff. So we kind of move on, we talk, and we move on to the next subject. And so if you want to hear, usually whatever you want to ask about, I usually have already talked about it, and Bill has posted it over the last couple of days or a week. And just go back to SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and you will find the segments there. All right, well, we got to thank our guests. There you go. We thanked our guests on our program. I mean, what the hell, there's a lot of guests here today on the show. We did 3 hours and 40 minutes of talk with no guests whatsoever. You tell me, okay? You tell me how many solo hosts can actually pull off 3 hours and 40 minutes of talk and give you all kinds of subjects with very little breaks.
You have to remember, this is
our
talk. Hours.
This is real talk.
This is our hours, not radio.
Yeah.
If we do radio hours, we actually did 7 or 8 hours of radio. Okay?
Yes, I just did about 7. Yes, there's no doubt we did that. Yes, it's about 7 hours of talk right now. If you had to include those half-hour commercials in every hour. Yeah, it's a good point on your part, dude. We did about 7 hours right now. Anyway, everything will be podcasted. It's already being podcasted as we speak. We thank all of you for tuning in, watching, listening, downloading anytime. Send us a text on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. And, of course, reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Remember, follow us on YouTube, our YouTube channel, Big O Radio Show. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, same bat channel. Be good out there.
Have a good one.
This is